guys, I've got a brand new camera system to check out. I'm going to be installing this on the FJR since there's a lot more room on that bike to work with. This is a dual 1080p security camera system. This is meant to be running basically if the bike is running. This is going to be recording both front and back at the same time. So we're going to put it through its paces. We're going to install it on the bike, play with the different camera mounts, get a good setup going, and then see what we think of the system. Now, I've done these in the past, haven't been too impressed, but these specs, at least on paper, look pretty good. Let's see how it stacks up. Reading through the instructions here, they're not bad. They're just slight Jinglish, but overall, very good. It's a simple system here. We've just got some wires to splice into and then some stuff to run and plug in. That's really as simple as it gets. Pretty much the same as installing any other key-on accessory to the bike, like a hardwired radar detector or GPS or anything like that. And then on the back, just very simple operational instructions, pretty much the same as any kind of action cam or basic DVR type system. So inside the box we have the main control unit slash recorder slash control screen. Basically it's like the big back of a GoPro. Now the system is touted as being waterproof, and I had thought that meant everything, including this. This is definitely not waterproof. We've got open ports here. We've got a reset. The SD card slot is completely open. These switches are definitely not rubber sealed, so this is still going to have to go somewhere under the seat, completely out of the weather. And these cables are obviously very short, so it's not something you'd want to put on your dash anyway. Then we have an external control button. This does have features to take photos, say in an emergency situation. It'll take a photo, plus save video before and after the photo. So this is kind of your panic button. And then each camera is fully waterproof and is a bullet style. It's rotatable and it does come with different mounts, along with Velcro and magnet mounts to the bike itself. The leads are short, but they do give you nice extensions. It's a fairly thick cable. It would be a little tough to hide this if you've got really tight body lines, so just be aware of that. And then inside the main box are all our external parts. We've got some heat shrinking here for all the different connections to make them even further waterproof. All the extension lines for the camera and the power, the remote control and the main controller. We also have a GPS unit, which is optional. The mounts are compatible with GoPro accessories, so you can build out your own connections if you need to. We do have self-adhesive regular mounts, and here are the magnetic mounts. And the power leads here do have their own fuse. So I've spent a lot of time going through the entire system and the accompanying app, which I'll show you in a second. I'm very happy to report that functionally, this is the first camera system I've seen that just flat out works completely normally. The only things wrong with it, and I'll show you all these, are just translations. If they would just hire somebody that natively speaks all the different languages, fix the box, the manual, the menus, and especially the app, you would find this thing for sale in Best Buy or Walmart or any other normal electronics store. That's how good this is. Now, the box itself, you're going to want to keep it under the seat, like I said earlier. If you take it up on the dash, you'd have to unplug everything and basically turn the system off every time it rains. So think of this under the seat, but that's not a bad thing because the accompanying app fully controls and expands on the features in the box itself. Controls itself, they're very easy. You've got a screen and power on-off button at the top. Tap it once to turn the screen on or off. Hold it to manually turn the system on or off, or you can just unplug the power cable. Same thing. Now again, this is a security system, not an action cam system, so it's made to just be recording all the time. As soon as the unit gets power, it starts recording. As soon as it has power turned off, it stops recording. There's nothing you have to do, there's nothing you can configure, and it works flawlessly. There's about a 6-second delay from the time it gets power to the time it starts recording. They suggest you tap into your headlight circuit for the power. I would actually go into the taillight circuit because some bikes have different ways that they handle the headlight. Some will cycle it on or off during the starter operation, some are on with the keys, some aren't. So if you want it absolutely bulletproof, tie into just a taillight. So that's always going to be on with the key, period. Now, the really cool thing about this is you don't even have to hardwire it into the bike if you want to, because they give you a USB connection. You can plug it into a battery bank and it lasts for days on a charge. This is like a 15,000 milliamp. Hasn't even begun to go down. Single digit use for hours of use recording. Absolutely cool. So I'm going to throw it in the bike like this because I don't want to hardwire in the bike just for the review. And this makes it really awesome. Also easy to swap from one bike to the other, or just take this whole thing in the house, whatever you want to do. It's just nice to have options. So let's go through the menus real quick. It's pretty simple. To start or stop recording, you just press the OK button. The M button cycles through your major options, which are just playing back anything on the card or going into your settings. And then the two arrows just go through menus, and OK is a select. So we'll go into the settings here, and they are very simple. You can turn on or off the clicks, on or off all the voice prompts. There are only two resolution settings, 1080p or 720p, both locked at 30 FPS, and it is recording two streams at once to the card, so it's pretty much maxing out the little processor that's in here. And that's why the video stream is very good for a security cam system, but it's nowhere near, say, top-level GoPro quality, and you'll see that later. Now, loop recording is the way this whole thing works. It will automatically rewrite over the first video recorded once the card gets full. So you never have to worry about the card getting full, and you can select if it's going to do so in 1, 3, or 5-minute chunks. So, for example, if you set it to 1 minute and you're out recording, you're going to have 1-minute slices of video on the card. And once it reaches the end of the card, it comes back to the beginning and starts writing over. Kind of like an 8-track. If you want bigger size chunks, you can do so there. So it would be 5-minute chunks for the largest section, for example. Totally up to you. For a security cam, it really doesn't matter all that much. Put a huge card in there. It supports normal 128 gig cards and a couple special 256 or smaller cards. So you got a lot of options. Options are good. You can turn on or off the artificial shutter sound for taking a photo, which I'll talk about in a second. And all the watermarks are optional. You've got the HaloCam logo in the corner and a timestamp at the bottom of everything recorded, and you can turn that on or off. Going through the other options here, this does have Wi-Fi, and that's how it connects to the app. Now, unfortunately, because it is a video-centric app, just like the GoPro app or anything else like that, it does require a Wi-Fi connection, not Bluetooth, meaning you're going to have to manually change your Wi-Fi network to the device anytime you want to use the app. A small price to pay, but that's just the way it goes when you're doing video, and you'll see the app in a second. And then you can display the Wi-Fi password if you forgot it, change your language, turn on or off the LED indicators while it's recording, it's blinking the lights. Obviously, there's no point in having voice prompts or the lights flashing or anything like that if it's under the seat. Your choice. A beep tone there. Screensaver is how long it takes for the screen to turn off. You want that obviously short as possible. Doesn't do anything. Set the date and time. Format. Format here is really the only thing that threw me off. I thought there was a problem, and again, it just comes down to bad translations. Usually with any kind of device, you put the card in, you click format, and a little menu would pop up, or a warning. It says formatting, please wait. Wait a few seconds and you're done. Well, when you click format on this guy, what happens is it actually does format the card, but it doesn't give you that nice friendly warning. It loses track of the card in the middle of the format. So it gives you a warning that card was removed, and then immediately card was inserted. So it kind of looks like there's something wrong, but there's not. It actually does go ahead and format the card.
The TF card has been pulled out. TF card inserted.
See, there we go. That's a normal format, so don't be thrown off by that. And then you can reset it. App download simply gives you a little QR code to scan on your phone. If you don't want to Google for the app, you can display your firmware version. You can update it through the app, and that's it. So it's a really simple system to use. Now this little guy is a combination They call it a remote control. I call it a panic button / microphone. So you'd mount this somewhere on your dash, somewhere where you can reach it. It has a status light, so when it's recording, you'll see a little blue light flashing just so you know it's on. And there's the microphone hole right there. So it picks up just ambient outdoor sounds. This is not meant to record your voice. This is just a wind protected mic to pick up traffic noises. That's it. This is not a high quality audio setup by any stretch of the imagination. But what this does is when you're going down the road, say something happens and you want to make sure you've captured something, you know, a deer runs out in front of you or something like that. All you do is click that button. It takes a picture and then it saves a special video from the front cam only. It takes 10 seconds before you press the button and 5 seconds after. So it's just a separate little snapshot that it puts in a separate folder. Now, I thought that separate folder, they were just, again, badly translating. They call it a wonderful video. And I thought, oh, that's nice. It takes a wonderful video. That's great. No, what they actually mean is there's on the card a separate folder called Wonderful. And they put them in there. So that's what this does. Also, if you want to make sure that the current loop is locked and will never be overwritten unless you format it, all you do is hold down on the button and that video segment that you're currently on will be protected. So again, if there's an accident or something and you want to make sure that the current 5 minutes you're on or 1 minute you're on or whatever is protected and can never be overwritten accidentally, you just press it down and it locks it. So that's all this is for, is just panicking. It does not start or stop recording or anything like that. You also have a waterproof GPS. The panic button is waterproof, by the way, so all of these here can go outside. Now this is completely optional. You can leave it unplugged if you want to. All it does is, and I'll show you here in the app, displays rides with your speed and where you went on a map. That's all this does. So the app is actually really good. I never did figure out what this opening screen is. It definitely looks like it's in beta, but the core functions work very well. There's just nothing going on here in this front section, but if we go to ride, you can see any stored rides in the system, and it's just displaying on a map. Again, completely optional, but it does record your speed, so some of you may or may not want this. Now, all the video features of the app are very good. Say, for example, you want to use it as a rear view camera system. There are a couple little quirks. One is if the phone is in portrait position here, which I think many people's, including mine, are on the bike, you don't have full width of the frame. You just have this little pan control right here. Now you can go to full screen, but then you have to turn the phone sideways to see everything. So not exactly ideal there. I would like to see this be able to show the full width of the frame in portrait position. And then you do have manual start and stop controls here if you want to do so. Now another nice feature is any clip that you want to save to your phone or tablet, whatever you're viewing on, you can do so instantly here through the app and just save it down. Pretty much like a home security system. You don't even have to remove the card out of the system here to pull a clip. So it's not like you have to dig through this and get the card out and take it into your computer. You can do everything through the app, so it's really nice. And then, like I said, when firmware updates come out, you can do so here through the app. The only other fault that I have with the system is the orientation of the card itself. Number one, overseas they call SD cards TF for legal reasons, so don't be thrown off where it says TF card everywhere. It's a normal SD card. But it's recessed in there about 3 millimeters to actually click in or out. I can't even do it with my fingernails. I have to use a little screwdriver. So it would be nice if they would not have that click recessed quite so much. I don't have a problem with anything else, like a GoPro, for example. That's it. Let's get it on the bike. Got the cameras mounted here, and I'm not impressed at all with the clamps. You might want to do something else, or at least beef them up. Problem is, I'll show you better on the rear one. It's just a spring clamp and some pretty janky threads. So I've got the front one here just mounted under the cowl, and the rear one just for now up on my luggage mount. If I was actually gonna put these in permanent, I'd definitely put it somewhere else, but this will make for a good video for you guys. So you can see the mount here. It's just a ring, and it just clamps around at a single point with a screw and kind of janky threads on the other end of it. No matter how tight I get it, that the bolt is locked down. That's just a little Phillips head. You still have some play because it's just pinching a single piece of metal. There's no ratchet, there's nothing to grab, there's no lock washer or anything like that. So what I would probably do is replace the bolt with a better bolt and nut and put a lock washer in there and actually get some friction, and that'll stop everything from camming a little bit. It's tight enough for the camera doesn't rotate in it. There's enough friction there on the clamp itself, but down at the base where the bolt actually goes through, it's just a tiny bit of material. So good enough for the video, but not for a permanent install. Definitely need to step that one up. Okay, got everything mounted for the test. Now again, I'm running off the USB battery pack. Absolutely love that. One other note, they give you these white dots that are supposed to signify perfectly vertical. They are close, but no cigar. So make sure you leave things just slightly loose enough to twist, and then use the camera views themselves to fine tune it and get it perfectly level. They're a few millimeters off. Close enough though. Let's go see what it looks like on the road. I'll do daytime right now, and then we'll come back in a few hours and see what it looks like at night. So there you go, guys. There's the HaloCam M1. I put it through its paces as best I could. Hopefully this helps you make a buying decision if you're looking for a security dash cam type system for your bike. Personally, I think it's the best one out there I've seen. Not 100% perfect, like I said, but darn close, and close enough to actually use and feel good about, at least in my opinion. Now, this was not a sponsored video in any way, but I'll put a link down below if you'd like to check it out. The system right now, it's Amazon, so it can change. It's well under 200 bucks, which is really cheap, especially considering what you get in the system. See you next time.